there's the side braces to the rear bumper have to be removed, or at least loosened. There's two of them that go to the frame. And there's one of them at the other end that goes to the bumper that needs to be loosened a little bit. Just loosen it enough to where it'll come down and clear the truck so you can pull it off the truck as so. Just do the same thing to the other side. Okay? Then we have to remove the wire harness to unplug it if you've got sensors and fog lights. But you've got to depress the little black clip. You pull that red clip back, depress the black one down, and the wire harness will come apart. Now we are ready to go to the outside and remove the grill so you can get the body bolts loose from the bumper so we can take the bumper off to get the front end on.
There is a series of plastic clips underneath the hood to lift the shroud up to like where the fan or the radiator would be. You would remove the plastic clips by pulling up the little dowel out and then pulling the rest out. Regular screwdriver does help. There's a series of them, as you would see through here, that you need to remove. Remove that, and then you can lift the piece of plastic out and just put it to the side for now. Now we have to remove the grill to be able to get to the bolts to remove the bumper. Okay, there is a series of bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, that you will have to remove at the top of the grill before you try to start pulling it out as such. Okay, there's 4 of them. To remove the grill, you have to pull up slightly on the top, and the pegs will have to come out. Just be patient, don't go too crazy, and it just snaps out. And you have to do this to get to the bolts to remove the bumper. With an 18mm impact or wrench, you got to have an extension. You can come down above and remove these bolts. And then there's one more straight down. There's 2 on each side. One more on top. And one more on bottom. Now your bumper is ready to be pulled off the truck. You will have to take lights and sensors out of it if your truck has them. So I recommend just lay it down. Take care of your bumper. Lay a piece of cardboard down first. And lay it down on its front. And we will start taking the sensors out. And the lights. There's a series of bolts that you got to remove. Just to even get the harness and the sensors and all that underneath. We've got a 15mm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's an 8th one right there. After you have removed those, there's two 10mm. Okay, you do have to remove these caps on your frame. 4 15mm. And you just do the same thing to the other side. Right now we're going to put the outside sensor holders that came out of the factory bumper in. The passenger go on the driver go on the passenger once you take them out of the factory into your new Frontier front end replacement. Okay, this was in the driver, so we're going to come over here in the passenger. We're going to put it in from the front and into the back side. That is where your sensors are going to go back into there. We will do the center ones here in a minute, and it snaps in. Okay, you'll do the same thing to the other side. From the front into the hole, in the back, and then our other sensor snap into there. Just push it back through. Is that? Your fog lights, there's brackets provided for your factory fog lights. We'll go in there. There's 3/8 washers provided. And we'll go on the back side. And we'll actually clip the little ears into place around your ears as the factory setup was. If you take a regular screwdriver, you can stick down the side there and it helps spread those little ears out again to make sure that they catch your washers. That way they won't fall back through. There we go. Just watch the little ears and just make sure that they come out and catch your washers. We'll go to the other side and do the same thing. Periodically in shipment, we've had these ears get bent before. You may just have to pull around on them a little bit. Depending on how far they get shipped, they could get damaged in shipping a little bit, just bent a little bit. But those ears are good. I don't have to use a screwdriver on there. That's how you mount your factory lights. Yeah, this one's good. So we're good on that one. Take and plug this in. You're going to put your harness back into the front end. And you're going to end up, there's some holes and some angle iron right here that you can end up zip tying all that to as you get everything put together. There's that. On the center sensors on your front end replacement, you can see where there's going to be a bolt there, and you're going to run one nut down to where the top of the nut is the same height as the top of your sensors. Then you're going to take the flat plate and put on top of there, and it's going to go just down on top of your sensor, and you're going to re-nut that, and you're going to tighten it down to double nut it. That prevents your front center sensor from coming back out of its holder on your front end replacement. You say you can take zip ties and zip tie that up to the metal holes as you need. Okay. Your license plate can be remounted on the front side on these two holes if you've got one. The truck that we've got now is brand new, so we're not going to put the paper plates on it. Okay, now we are going to put on your bottom mounting bracket, which is your only one. There's two bolts that hold the tow hook on, which you will reuse those bolts. And that you can leave there, and we're going to take the bottom one out. And we're going to put our mounting bracket. We're just going to reuse the same bolts. And the bolts that you took out to take that frame cap off of, you're going to reuse those bolts too. Is on there. We'll go ahead and tighten up our bottom one. And we're going to tighten up the side one, which is 18 millimeter. 15 on there, and put those back. And you've got to use the wrench,
The open-end wrench on the outside.
to tighten that one. And then you just repeat the same thing on the other side. This is the passenger, just doing the same sequence on the driver's side. Before you put your front end on, you need to put your grill back in.
Important right here. That this little peg lines back up with this. That aligns it all up. Snap right in.
And you're going to put your four, which I'll have to find the other one here in a minute, bolts back in the top. They're not that tight. You can use a little screwdriver with the socket set on it. What is that? Just put those four back in. Okay? Ready? After you put your grill in, you can put your plastic cover back in. And it's just a series of all them little clips that you took out that you got to put back in. So, and that'll be that. As we got our hardware lined up, ready to go, so you don't have to be looking for it as you're trying to pick up the front end. We've got our brackets mounted, hardware's ready to go, and now we're going to put the front end on the truck. Okay, one guy on each end, one guy under the truck. To do the bolts, we're going to put the front end on the truck now. It's always careful to make sure that your hands stay out here too, so it doesn't scratch the sides of the truck whenever you're putting them up there. You gotta go to Chewy. Okay, Dick? I got one on one side, now I'm going to go to the other side. Relieve the pressure from it. Here you go, Chewy. We're good. I think. So you get one on each side, then the guys can rest a little bit, and then we can get the rest of the bolts in, and then we'll show how to line your truck up, your grill guard up with your truck. Okay, we have snugged the top bolt on the passenger side underneath. Now we are going to put the jack underneath this side to lift the side up to be the same as the other. You want about 3/4 of an inch to an inch gap underneath here. You don't want to get it too much closer than that, because if you do hit something or going through rough roads, it can cause problems. So as of right now, we're jacking it up, and we're going to make it the same as the other side. If you want, you can take a tape measure also and measure from there to the fender well. As of right now, we got 3/4 of an inch. Okay. You also want to make sure that your loops, what we call the loops, is the same from side to side. Okay. And then you want to just make sure that all your sensors are still good and in place, which they are. Our little harness, once you get done getting all everything tightened up, you need to plug it back into your harness. And again, you want to put your license plate on the front plate once you're done. We're going to take our little time right now and just make sure everything's the same, side to side, up and down, and then we'll tighten all the bolts. Okay, we have tightened all the bolts up. Make sure all of them are tight before you go down the road. Once again, if you have your license plate yet, put it on there. This is a new truck. We don't. It's all paper. When you do line it up, you saw me measure the deck to make sure it looks all good with the grill and all that. You also want to step back and make sure all your bars are in line with your hood line and your lights and all that. Make sure it's right side to side. Once you've done all that, you're ready to go on the road. Just make darn sure all bolts are tight before you start taking off. And then I hope you enjoy your front end replacement.